This week on ANN, the president of the Seventh-day Adventist World Church meets with students at Andrews University.
A member of the Adventist Church in Venezuela is killed after a confrontation between the military and members of a nearby border community.
And ADRA Brazil steps in to offer humanitarian aid after hundreds flee Venezuela to Brazil.
These stories and more coming up.
Thank you so much for joining us this week.
Leading up to Andrews University board meetings in the U.S. state of Michigan this week, University President Andrea Luxton and Ted N.C. Wilson, president of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, engaged in an hour-long conversation featuring questions covering a wide array of topics of interest in the church today.
Many questions were submitted to Andrews University for the afternoon event, including questions on women in ministry, church structure, racial and social issues, the Trinity, and more.
Opening the 2-hour program, Luxton explained the first hour would focus on mission, followed by questions and answers.
In his opening remarks, Wilson said the meeting was a good opportunity to share from our hearts and encourage all to focus on the mission of the church, with everybody doing something for Jesus.
In response to Luxton's final question, how do we move forward as a church, Wilson answered, "That's a great question, and I don't have the complete answer, except to say that I personally lean on the Lord all the time, as much as I can, and that's what gets me through a lot of things. It's going to be allowing the Holy Spirit to take control of this church with over 21 million members worldwide, including many young people and many diverse ethnic groups. Everybody understanding we're part of a last-day mission. And if we do that, I believe we can find our way through some of these differences because the real mission will loom large."
To watch the full video of the discussion, visit beinformed.adventist.org.
The Seventh-day Adventist Church in Venezuela is saddened by the loss of one of its members in La Gran Sabana, located in the southeastern part of the country, bordered by Brazil and Guyana. Zoraida Rodriguez, an active member of the local church in Cumaracapay, was killed during a confrontation between the military and members of a nearby border community. Rodriguez's husband, 2 other church members, and 13 other civilians were injured and are currently being treated in the hospital across the border in Brazil. President of the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Inter-America, Eli Henry, said, "We continue to pray for our church members in Venezuela, especially the family of Zoraida Rodriguez. We all need to remember them in our prayers every day and for God's intervention in the country." Local church leaders point out there are many Adventist churches near the border, mostly made up of indigenous people, who are at this point assisting the wounded, sharing food, and offering spiritual support through local pastors and laypersons in the area. In addition, a small group of church members are providing water and refreshments to those who have been displaced along the border communities in the region. The church continues to impact the community with health expos, food festivals, evangelistic initiatives, and more. In the West Venezuela region, which borders Colombia, there are no reported casualties among members. For more information, visit interamerica.org.
When the Venezuelan border with Brazil was closed in February of 2019, blocking the humanitarian aid being sent to the Venezuelan people, many in the population revolted, especially those in border indigenous communities. Hundreds of those residents, many of them Seventh-day Adventists, crossed the border into Brazil, where they were welcomed by local indigenous communities in the San Marcos, Roraima area. According to local leader Aldino Alves, his community of 260 soon tripled in size. Now they have more than 1,000 locals and refugees living there, as they gear up for the arrival of many more. With the significant increase in the population in such a short time, local residents soon ran out of food and accommodation options. In response, the Roraima branch of the Adventist Development and Relief Agency, or ADRA, in partnership with the Brazilian Army and humanitarian organizations, collected hundreds of mattresses, blankets, and a ton of food. ADRA has also put together a volunteer team. According to ADRA Roraima Director Arlindo Keffler, it is the least that they can do. "We have brought supplies to ease the hunger and pain they are feeling so they can enjoy a minimum level of human dignity." Local ADRA leaders said that among the residents and the refugees, there are many children, pregnant women, and seniors, both Brazilians and Venezuelans. About 20 volunteers left Roraima's capital city of Boa Vista and traveled to Pacaraima to distribute supplies in the indigenous community. Many are not members of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, but have accepted the mission of volunteering to help others.
The almost 2-year legal ordeal of Han Ji-man, a young Seventh-day Adventist medical student in Korea, ended last month when the country's Supreme Court upheld his right to take university exams outside of Sabbath hours. Adventists in Korea are celebrating the landmark ruling, which they hope will signal a new era of legal protection for Sabbath keepers and other people of faith. Public Affairs and Religious Liberty Director for the Adventist Church in the Northern Asia-Pacific region, Sun Hwan Kim, says, "This verdict is historically important for Korean Adventists and provides a judicial precedent that can be used for future. This miraculous ruling would not have occurred if a faithful Adventist youth, Brother Han, had not stood firmly in faith." Adventists in Korea have long faced Sabbath-keeping difficulties, with university and professional accreditation exams often scheduled on Saturdays. Through the years, many church members have sacrificed educational or career advancement in order to stay true to their convictions. Although the Korean Constitution forbids discrimination on the basis of religion, the courts have not extended that protection to the issue of Sabbath keeping until now. Han Ji-man's legal battle began when he was a first-year medical student and discovered that a number of crucial exams were scheduled on Sabbaths. He filed his lawsuit against the medical school only after talks with his professors and school administrators, and an appeal to the National Human Rights Commission of Korea failed to resolve his predicament. After losing his case in the lower court, Han Ji-man appealed to Korea's high court and won. The medical school appealed that result to the country's highest court, the Supreme Court. Last month, the Supreme Court deferred to the High Court's decision, thus giving victory to Han Ji-man and upholding a more robust constitutional protection for religious freedom.
A series of 8 presentations delivered during a recent meeting between representatives of the Seventh-day Adventist Church and the representatives of the Seventh-day Adventist Reform Movement are now available online. The dialogue was held at the Seventh-day Adventist Church's headquarters in Silver Spring in the U.S. state of Maryland. It was the 3rd meeting between representatives of the two groups. The presentations focused on 4 topics chosen by leaders of the Seventh-day Adventist Reform Movement: Christian temperance, emphasizing the diet for the last generation, the relationship between church and state, especially as it relates to participation in military service, justification by faith, and issues surrounding divorce and remarriage. Participants in the dialogue said the meetings have been open and friendly, offering a unique window into each community's identity and beliefs. In a joint statement following last year's meeting, the group acknowledged areas of clear difference in theological understanding and church practice, but expressed gratitude for the opportunity to meet and dialogue together in a spirit of Christian friendship and respect. Another similar dialogue is planned.
Adventist-run Life Health Foods Australia has teamed up with former Olympian Stephanie Rice to increase awareness of the benefits of following a plant-based diet and to encourage Australians to eat more plant-based foods.
Since partnering with Rice in 2018, Life Health Foods brand Veggie Delights has launched a number of marketing campaigns and activities that promote a plant-based diet as being not only good for health, but also for animal welfare and the environment.
Rice, who won 3 gold medals for swimming at the 2008 Olympics, became a vegan after suffering bouts of bloating, skin outbreaks, and stomach aches.
Rice and Veggie Delights want people to know that by adopting a plant-based diet, they're also making a contribution towards the welfare of animals and the environment.
Plant-based diets are increasing in popularity. It's estimated 1.5 billion people around the world and 2.1 million people in Australia are vegan or vegetarian. Australia is now the 3rd fastest growing vegan market in the world.
Coming up, a new study says diet is linked to mental health.
But up next, Adventist Mission announces new film contest for young people.
We may look, pray, read, think, worship, sing, and share differently, but we all look forward to the Sabbath. And we all look forward to the future when Jesus will come again. With this message in mind, we arrived at a core component for a new identity system: the creation grid, a simple 7-column structure for layout. The grid is a reference both to the prophetic timeline as well as to the creation week that culminated in the 7th-day Sabbath. Regardless of what or where you are designing, you can always find information to help you communicate that we are all Seventh-day Adventists.
Welcome back.
Following the popular My Story, My Mission film contest for college students comes the Follow Him film contest exclusively for young people aged 18 years old and younger.
Adventist Mission invites youth around the world to creatively express in 1 minute or less what it means to follow Christ in a mission-focused life.
This contest is for youth who meet the age requirements and self-identify as Adventist or attend Adventist-affiliated schools.
To ensure eligibility, entrants are asked to refer to the entry rules. Films must be submitted online at adventistmission.org/followhim by March 31 of 2019.
The entries will be placed on the Adventist Mission website and social media for public voting in April 2019.
The Office of Adventist Mission is part of the General Conference of Seventh-day Adventists and serves to inspire Adventists around the world to support mission work and live mission-focused lives.
If you would like more information about this contest, the rules and prizes, visit adventistmission.org/followhim.
A study has found that poor mental health is linked with poor diet quality regardless of personal characteristics such as gender, education, age, marital status, and income level. The study, published on February 16 in the International Journal of Food Sciences and Nutrition, revealed that adults in the U.S. state of California who consumed more unhealthy food were also more likely to report symptoms of either moderate or severe psychological distress than their peers who consume a healthier diet. Loma Linda University School of Public Health Associate Professor Jim E. Bantam, the lead author of the study, said the results are similar to previous studies conducted in other countries that have found a link between mental illness and unhealthy diet choices. Increased sugar consumption has been associated with bipolar disorder, and consumption of fried foods or those that contain high amounts of sugar and processed grains have been linked to depression. The study stated that the team's findings provide additional evidence that public policy and clinical practice should more explicitly aim to improve diet quality among those struggling with mental health. It also stated that dietary interventions for people with mental illness should especially target young adults, those with less than 12 years of education, and obese individuals. For more information, visit news.llu.edu.
Silvestre Adventist Hospital is among the top 3 hospitals in Brazil that perform liver transplants and is considered #1 in the state of Rio de Janeiro. During the past 8 years, the hospital has performed 600 liver transplants, a feat reached by only a few health institutions around the world. The institution is a pioneer in performing double and living donor transplants, including a transplant performed on a patient who had inverted internal organs, a condition that affects only 0.01% of the world population. The spiritual support provided to patients and relatives is also one of the highlights of the institution. Since 2014, the project, A Place of Peace, has been doing worship services on Sabbath mornings and for patients and their families. On Sabbath afternoons, the members and employees visit the hospital wards in order to pray and read the Bible with patients. The Adventist Church in South America sent this report.
Lugar de Paz é um espaço no Hospital Adventista Silvestre, reservado para comunhão com Deus e encontro com os amigos. A proposta surgiu da necessidade de adaptar o atendimento diário da capelania ao estilo plural de nossos clientes. Cada sábado, 60 a 80 pessoas são atendidas. O ambiente do hospital se envolve em uma espiritualidade contagiante que descansa e suaviza a dor, inclusive para o colaborador de plantão, que percebe a diferença de sua atividade no dia de sábado. O foco do projeto é o cliente do hospital, seja paciente ou acompanhante, indo até a capela ou recebendo a equipe em sua unidade de internação.
Ele é a única saída pra tua vida renascer.
Além dos capelães e diretoria do hospital, o projeto conta com o apoio de uma banda musical jovem, médicos, colaboradores e voluntários da região que comparecem semanalmente. Acreditamos que este ministério resgata a identidade missionária de nosso hospital, com potencial para transformá-lo cada vez mais em um verdadeiro centro de influência.
Permite que Deus transforme o teu vida.
The Seventh-day Adventist Church in Inter-America celebrated as more than 8,000 people crowded the Jamaican Montego Bay Convention Center to worship, praise, and witness the results of evangelistic efforts and community events across the Inter-American Division territory. More than 200 new believers were baptized on site, and hundreds more joined the church across the Inter-American territory. The event represented Inter-America's annual baptismal celebration convention coined Lord Transform Me. The initiative involves motivating every church member to pursue a transformation in Jesus through the daily study of the Bible and a prayerful lifestyle for total involvement in sharing the gospel within their communities. Adventist World Church President Ted N.C. Wilson delivered the main message to the large congregation on Sabbath. Wilson tailored his message to the dozens of newly baptized members and to those still undecided. Church members in Jamaica embraced Mission 2019, which began in October of 2018, taking part in more than 1,000 health outreach projects and expos throughout the 750 congregations across the island, Northern Caribbean University, and Andrews Memorial Hospital. The church has also partnered with the Ministry of Health through its Jamaica Moves and Adopt a Clinic programs as it seeks to make Jamaica and Jamaicans healthier and more productive. The IAD will hold next year's Lord Transform Me Convention in Central America in April of 2020 with the principal site in Costa Rica. For more information, visit interamerica.org.
Mark your calendar. This Sabbath, March 16, is Global Youth Day. On this day, the Adventist Church encourages young people all over the world to get involved in their communities and be the sermon.
Global Youth Day will kick off a special week of prayer, which will end with Homecoming Sabbath, a Sabbath where young people are encouraged to bring non-attending or former Adventist friends to church.
You can follow along with Global Youth Day by using the hashtag GYD19, and you can watch young people all over the world participate in Global Youth Day on globalyouthday.org.
Coming up, Emily Mastrapa is here to tell you how you can get more engagement on social media.
But up next, Adventist Mission shares the story of a mission pioneer in India.
Then Esther sent this reply to Mordecai. Go and gather all the Jews who are in Susa together, and pray and fast for me. Do not eat or drink anything for 3 days and nights. I and my maidens will fast as you do. After that, I will go to the king, even though it is against the law. And if I perish, I perish.
Welcome back.
People often come to Pioneer Prem with requests for help.
With God's help, Prem does his best to tend to the physical and spiritual needs of his community in India.
Adventist Mission has more.
A boy rushes into the house, hand covered in a white paste. This home remedy hasn't resolved the pain in the boy's hand. His family behind him, he runs up to the global mission pioneer who lives here and asks for help. The pioneer takes a quick look and promises to do more for him after lunch. Today is Sabbath, and he has other patients to help before starting church. A man then brings in his sick wife, who's been suffering from severe stomach aches. Drawing from his basic medical training, the pioneer listens to the couple and counsels them in his unusual living room. This unique space has been transformed to welcome visitors in need of medical attention. In this small town in Uttar Pradesh, India, quality healthcare and medical treatment are rare opportunities. The nearest hospital is hours away, so Pioneer Prem uses the talents God has given him to serve the town's sick. This much-needed service is a lifeline for the people, and they've filled Prem's schedule during the week and beyond. Prem's patients receive more than just physical care. They learn about a holistic lifestyle and the importance of a healthy mind, body, and spirit. They also receive love and compassion as they speak with Prem. Many of the treatments offered here are natural medicines, including herbs, plants, and charcoal pills. Prem gives this couple medication and inspiring literature, and at the end of each visit, he asks the heavenly physician to heal and bless his patients. Prem believes it's his duty to tell others about the source of all healing, and the people appreciate learning about the God who heals. Pioneer Prem has one last patient this morning, a young boy who first came here in a critical condition. After seeing many local healers, the family's only hope was Prem. He prayed for and treated the boy, and in time, he was healed. Today, the parents believe it was Prem's God who healed their son, and they continue to see Prem for their medical needs. Pioneer Prem finally gets a chance to finish getting dressed for church. At last, he rushes upstairs, where many of his former patients await him. Even from the bottom of the steps, he could hear their singing. They weren't disturbed by the delay. The extra time has given them an opportunity to praise the wonderful God of healing they've come to know. Prem speaks to the group about Jesus. It's easy for them to picture a heavenly physician who healed, preached, and cared for those around him. They've come to see a glimpse of Jesus in Prem. This church plant is the only Seventh-day Adventist congregation in the region. Before Prem arrived, this was considered an unentered area. Now the members pray to officially establish the first Adventist church here. They also give financially to support the mission here and abroad. They know their humble tithes and offerings receive God's blessing and are multiplied. Please pray for this church and for pioneers all around the world who labor on the front lines of mission.
You can watch this and other mission stories online by visiting AdventistMission.org, then click on videos at the top.
Are you looking for more ways to generate more engagement on social media?
Emily Mastrapa is here to share a few quick tips on how you can engage more people on your social media calls to action.
Do you want to encourage your social media followers to take action on your posts? Having a call to action button on your Facebook page can be helpful, and it's easy to set up. Call to actions help drive people on Facebook to take actions that are important to your business. When you add the button on your page, you will be able to choose your call to action or what you want the button to say. And you can enter the URL for your website or where you want to direct people to. On the ANN Facebook page, the button says sign up, and it leads people to news.adventist.org. You can use call to actions without setting up the button and just kind of use them in your posts. You should know what kind of words to say for what you want people to do. If you're trying to drive people to your website, you should use words like read more and explore. If you want to reach new audiences, you should ask people to retweet and share the post and say things like spread the word. If you want to engage with your audience, say things like tell us what you think or share your story. And if you need help with an emergency or if there's a sense of urgency, use words like donate now and pledge to. These are just some easy tips to help you engage and encourage your audience.
And finally, for today's episode, let's turn to David Trim for a look at Adventist history.
This week, the first camp meeting in Inter-America was held off the coast of Honduras.
This week in Seventh-day Adventist history was one of ambition in mission. On March 5 to 15, 1908, that is almost all of this week, 111 years ago, the first camp meeting in Central America was held on the island of Roatan off the coast of Honduras. The featured speaker was William Spicer, Secretary of the General Conference. This historic photograph shows Spicer, Urbanus Bender, the President of the West Indies Union Conference, and in the back row, Elmer Cardy, Superintendent of the Central American Mission, along with some of the multiracial group of camp meeting attendees. Spicer reported, "These brethren and sisters in Central America are good, old-fashioned Seventh-day Adventists." He acknowledged that they have a large mission field and a difficult one. But, Spicer commented approvingly, the keynote of the conference was that of pushing on into unentered territories. For all of this week and a little beyond, 88 years ago, from March 10 through 18 in 1931, the Far Eastern Division was holding its Spring Council in Manila. This was a crucial meeting because the division had just gone through a major reorganization in which China was removed from its territory and formed into a separate division. So this was the first meeting of the new reorganized Far Eastern Division Executive Committee. Furthermore, this was 1931, remember, and the great effects of the Great Depression were hitting hard. Nevertheless, the division leaders who you see in this photo here made a commitment that from this time forward we will make evangelism our main line of endeavor, enlisting all our ministerial staff in conducting public efforts and securing full cooperation from our entire membership. The division committee also agreed to greatly increase the numbers of lay preachers. And importantly, the division followed through. In the next 3 years, even though the funds coming from North America were significantly reduced due to the Depression, the number of lay preachers increased by 62%, and the membership increased by 67%, exactly 2/3. That was this week in Seventh-day Adventist history.
Thanks for watching A&N. Join us next week for more news from the headquarters of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
We'd love to hear from you. You can send us your feedback and tell us how your church is making a difference in its community.
Be sure to capture plenty of video footage and photos. Then write up a summary of the event's important details, and feel free to send full video reports as well.
You can reach us by sending an email to annvideo11@gmail.com.
Before we say goodbye, here's some good news from the book of Leviticus, chapter 20, verse 26.
The passage says, "You are to be holy to me, because I, the Lord, am holy, and I have set you apart from the nations to be mine."
That's our program for this week, and remember, you can always visit news.adventist.org for daily news and videos. Until next time, God bless.
Take care.